son asked me why I left and never came back. Eli is 13. He has his mother's eyes and my terrible posture, and a way of going quiet when something is bothering him that I recognized the first time I saw it, because I do the exact same thing. I've been watching him grow up in the specific fragmented way divorced fathers do every other week. Alternating holidays, a school calendar printed and stuck to my refrigerator with a magnet so I don't miss anything. I have not missed anything. That part matters. What comes next? Andrea and I separated when Eli was 7 and his sister Cora was 4. The marriage had been failing for longer than either of us admitted, and when it finally ended, we were both tired enough that the early months of the divorce were almost civil. We agreed on a parenting plan without lawyers fighting over every clause. We lived 12 minutes apart. I coached Eli's soccer team the fall after we separated because I'd already committed and the kids needed consistency. I was at every parent-teacher conference, every school play, every pediatric appointment I was notified about. I'm not saying this to make myself sound exceptional. This is just what you do. Andrea remarried 2 years ago. A man named Paul who works in commercial real estate and who I have no particular feelings about because he seems fine with my kids, and that's the entire criteria. I even told Andrea that once and she seemed surprised I meant it. Things had been stable, routine. And then Eli went quiet on me for about 3 weeks in February and I couldn't get underneath it. He'd come for his week. He'd do his homework, eat dinner, answer my questions with the minimum viable response. Not rude, just sealed. I gave him space because he's 13 and sometimes that's just what 13 is, but it stretched past the point where I could reasonably tell myself it was nothing. The third Friday of the month, I picked him up from school and we went to get food. Just the two of us. A burger place he likes on the east side. We were halfway through eating and I put my food down and said, "Tell me what's going on with you." He looked at his tray. Then he said very quietly, "Mom said that when you guys got divorced, you basically checked out. Like you could have fought harder to see us more, but you just kind of moved on." I sat with that for a moment. "She said you chose the schedule you have because it was easier for you, but that you were ready to start your own life." He was still looking at the tray. "I just don't know what's true." I pulled out my phone. I had not planned this, but I knew immediately that words alone weren't going to hold up against 3 or 4 years of a different story being told 12 minutes away. I opened my Photos app and found the folder I'd kept without any particular strategy, just because I document things by habit. I handed him the phone and told him to scroll. 6 years of it. Every soccer game. Date stamped. The hospital the night Cora had her appendix out. Photos of me in the waiting room at 2 in the morning because I'd driven there the minute Andrea called. His 3rd grade science fair, the broken arm at 8, and the camping trip we took the summer after the divorce because I wanted him to have something good to hold on to from that year. Text threads between me and Andrea from the early years. Me asking for additional days, asking to adjust the schedule to see them more. Her saying the current arrangement was what worked for now. He scrolled for a long time. I finished my burger. He didn't touch the rest of his. When he got to the end, he handed the phone back and didn't say anything for almost a minute. Then he said, "Why would she say that?" I thought carefully before I answered. I told him that divorce is hard on everyone, and that sometimes people hold on to a version of things that makes their own pain easier to carry. I told him I wasn't going to tell him his mother was a liar, because I didn't think that was the whole truth. I told him what I knew for certain was that I had never once chosen anything over being his dad, and that the photos on that phone were the record. He nodded slowly. He ate the rest of his food. On the drive home, he asked if he could see the camping trip photos again. I handed him the phone, and he sat in the passenger seat going through them while I drove, not saying much, just looking. I called Andrea that weekend. I told her I didn't want to have the argument about what she'd said or why. I told her Eli had come to me with it directly, and that he was old enough now to start fact-checking the stories he'd been given. I said it as evenly as I could manage. She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "I'll talk to him." I said, I think that's the right call." I don't know exactly what she said to Eli because he didn't repeat it to me and I didn't ask. What I know is that he texted me the following Tuesday for no reason. Just sent a clip of something funny he'd seen online with no message attached. I sent back a laughing emoji and put my phone down. It was the best text I'd gotten in months.